it a fascinating experience. So every evening we would meet in a lawn of someone's office, literally. And Safdar and Mala, his wife, and Sudhanva Deshpande, Brijendra, there were a whole lot of different Brijesh, and all these people who were together. We would all sit around and first discuss the play that we wanted to do. What's the issue of the play? Safdar would get an expert of that issue to come and talk to us. So the play would evolve through a whole process of understanding what the play was about. So for me, in many ways, the years of street theatre with Jana Natya Manch was my political training. And Safdar was a big champion of not just a content, not that the content should be well-intentioned or should have a lot of meat in it, but also the form. So he would say that it's not enough to know what you want to talk about or what is it, but your art is not just a medium. How do you use that art? How do you tell that story? In what form do you wrap it in? That's just as important. And that's why he would put a lot of emphasis also on the form, how the play is going to be presented, what's the music going to be like, what is the performance level of it, how engaging is it. So it was a very interesting mix, and I'm so grateful for that experience, because I'm sure it has deeply impacted the choices I made even in my films. In fact, Safdar used to always say that you should really take up acting more seriously, and at that time I used to say, not at all, I never want to be an actress. And he used to almost sort of prod me into maybe going into National School of Drama or doing something with a group, and at that time I was not interested at all. In fact, after that I did my geography honours, I did my masters in social work, and it was much later that I got into acting, and sadly Safdar never got to see that. Street plays that I primarily did, one was called Hinsa Parmo Dharam, which was an anti-communalism play, a very strong play, again inspired by one of Premchand's story, which Safdar had adapted. But even when he would adapt, it was like a collective process. And he would never give his name, by the way, for the plays that he would write, even though primarily he was the one who sort of steered it and formulated it. He always wrote it as JANAM play. He was one of those, who would prefer to be a backbencher in that sense and really believed in the power of the collective. When Safdar got killed, I think that still date, it's sort of the biggest shocks that I've ever got in my life. When I got the news, I was in Rishi Valley, this boarding school in the south where I was teaching for a term. I had taken a year off after my BA and I'd gone there to teach. And I can't forget, Sudhanva was the first one to call me, and then I spoke to Mala, and I was just so under shock that I didn't even know how to respond to such a news. It just seemed completely surreal. And Sudhanva in fact told me almost in graphic details. I think he was just so numbed with that shock that he was like literally telling me everything that happened, and I just couldn't believe what we have come to, that somebody, and he was the most gentle human being I'd met. He wasn't one of those aggressive activists that sometimes you kind of associate with, but he was truly a total humanist, a complete gentle human being whose whole attempt was to bring in people by conversation, with communication, with art and all of that. So to kill someone like that for performing a play just because they were requested, that there was a little rally of people, for some political rally was going on, and they just requested them that, can you take another route because we are performing, and it's a 30-minute play. So if something interrupts it, then you have just broken the play completely. And just because of that, and because of his left leanings, which again he never imposed on any of us. So for someone like that to get killed by iron rods and so brutally was just a complete shock. And it's such an irony that after his death, street theatre became more known. April 12th, his birthday is now celebrated as the Street Theatre Day. I mean, I guess he contributed even with his death, but I truly believe that had he lived, he would have really contributed much more, no question about it.